Okay, are we live? That woke up my dog. Alright, I see myself, I hear myself. I'm gonna mute myself. Let me do the obligatory copy link and throw it in the general direction of social media. By the way, is my volume input level okay? Yes, okay. That shouldn't cause any problems. As the weeks drag on, I spend less and less effort on the social media tweets that I threw out about these things. Anyway, let's see. I am getting started like an hour later than I really wanted to. Windows insisted on updating, and then I decided that my computer's been on for like 3 weeks without being turned off, and I decided that it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to do that and let it cool down for a bit. So I just let it stay off for about a half an hour. Before I turned it on and got it ready for the live streams. Okay. Let's see. I think last time I did these. I outlined like all of Buttes. I swear this is spelled wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. I'm pretty sure I outlined all of the levels that I wanted to set up. I set down the path, and if I go back to title and enter another one, I think I may have put down a few decorations as well. Okay, so this is a town looking place, and yeah, the beginning and the end of the track decorations are there. Which of these actually have data in them? There is 40 megabytes of level data here. That's a lot. Does my vertex format have a texture coordinate? It does. Do I need it? Do I need it to have a texture coordinate? I could save like a couple bytes per vertex if I got rid of that, but that's something for another day. Let's see, the graveyard, the beach, the pirate cove, the buttes. This was finished. I had some the ground. I said I would write some code to make the ground like green or sandy or whatever color would be appropriate depending on oh gosh, depending on the setting. So things like dark grass in the graveyard versus sand in the pirate cove. Let's see. What do I want to do? I would like to. I suppose I'll just jump into one of these, and this is where I sort of wish that I spent a little bit more time working on terrain things last time, and I guess I can create myself a terrain model and use that for the ground instead of the actual ground if I wanted to. I'll play around with that. That might be today's video. So if I were to go into edit mode, the game is about to start. And if I were to minimize that for a minute, I need to open up my terrain editor that I've been making. Apparently there's a new beta out. No thank you. I'm stuck on an old version of no thank you for a second time. I'm stuck on an old version of the Game Maker beta because there is a particular bug which makes a particular project not work on anything newer than like runtime 23.1.1.268, which is at this point fairly old. And I really hope that gets fixed soon. If I in fact look at the runtime release notes. Oh, that was yesterday. Okay, I already saw these, and the bug was indeed not fixed. Let's see. In recent days, And I can go over here. In recent days, there have been like a an uptick in the amount of like YouTube comment spam again. And every couple times a day, I just get random gibberish in my YouTube comments. Let's see. I'm not gonna worry super much about the texture. If I just like erase the texture, yeah, I don't know what it was doing there. But if I were to just erase the texture and color it to something vaguely sandy. What's like a sandy color? That's a sandy color. We'll clear the color to that. And let's see. Actually, you know what? What's the size of all these maps? Like 1920 by 1080? Okay. That ought to create myself a map. All right, 192 by 108. Let me clear the texture again. Let me clear the color, and we can. We have a map, or something that will turn into a map. So let's see. I think. Can I increase the brush radius a bit? All right, this will need to be smoothed, but the shape of the level is something like this. So if I were to just like knock out a little bit of terrain down here for the water, that would be more or less approximately the shape of the. Let me reset the height and start that again. That would be more or less the shape of the beach, like that. All right. Game Maker is lagging a little bit as I do this. That's fine. I think I'm gonna be smoothing this out a little bit. There are some things I could do to probably optimize this terrain editor, but not a top concern of mine right now. Is this stream actually live? Because the viewer count still says 0 and it's been like 5 minutes. 7 minutes, 8 minutes. I can tell time. Is this actually live? Alright, it is. Either just nobody's actually here or YouTube is just not reporting viewer numbers again, which has happened before. Anyway, if you hear, hello. Okay, so that's more or less the shape of what I want the water to be. And I'll have it taper down a little bit towards the end. I talked about doing something like this, and I'm not sure if I'm actually going to end up doing this, but I talked about doing something like this for like the border, so that there's so that we don't just have something like a level floating in the sky. Smooth. All right, this should round the edges a little bit. Did borrow a lot of ideas from Unity's terrain tool, in case anyone's wondering. As far as this thing is concerned. Okay, that's probably good. I'm gonna set the export scale to 10. Export all faces, yes please. Don't use YUP, don't swap the UVs. I'm going to save that. And let's see. We have something resembling sand. We have something resembling terrain. If I were to put the light a little bit more effectively on it, like that, and smooth the normals. That's gonna take a moment to compute. That's gonna take a long moment to compute. Alright, we have smooth normals. I can save this as a vertex buffer. Boy, the light... The angle that the light's coming down on is not very helpful. I'll save this as a game maker model and also as a vertex buffer just as like backup. Should be able to just dump this as a straight vertex buffer, and that will be much faster. I can close out of this. If I were to not vertex submit ground, and instead, if I were to add the thing I just created, which I believe is in this folder. That is a huge vertex buffer. That is a huge 3D object. Probably do not need that resolution. I have a feeling I might not be going with the strategy of terrain in this game just because of the amount of space it takes up. Go to the beach and tab. Where is F6 search? Wow, okay. That's not working at all. Hang on a minute. Spawn entity, create a path node, create a one of these. Let's try it like this. Okay, so that is not at all what I had in mind. Yeah, this isn't working. Okay, this is dumb. I'm going to basically erase all of my progress today and just continue on doing this like I was last week. This is not at all working. Okay, good to know, I guess. I don't want to spend too much time. It's only been like 10-15 minutes. I don't want to spend too much time on something that's one, going to look stupid, two, going to be technically challenging, and all that. So I guess we'll just imagine that there's water on the beach here this time, and in the future I will do something else to make it look more like there's actual water. All right, I need rocks of some sort. Formation large rock. That is definitely a big rock. Okay. A little larger than I wanted. How do I where's the hitbox for this thing? For God's sake. Oh, for God's sake. It's like... The rotation is, the random rotation is meaning that it can be a little bit off of where it looks like it should be. Like... Everything is terrible, like here. Why is the hitbox for everything so small? I mean, I was the one who wrote it that way, but... Alright. Stone. Formation stone. No, I do not want formation stones. Just a regular stone, if you please. I swear, the code for the search looks like it should be working, but I swear it's not. Anyway, that's the stone that I'm looking for. That's the size that I'm looking for. I'm just gonna, like, put a few probably palm trees and rocks on the beach and other things that you would expect to find in such a place. Okay. I'm not liking stone underscore small h. Let's try another one. Okay, that's a little better. Flat B, small f. Yeah, those are more what I had in mind. Maybe a couple of the formation stones, like in the background, but probably the real round ones I can't say I'm a fan of. Let's replace that with something else. Alright, yeah, the flat ones, the flat-ish ones anyway are okay. Let's see, it's already 3 o'clock. Due to the fact that I got started like way later than I was planning to, I don't think I'm gonna really be getting a ton done today. I don't know if I want to do another level design live stream just because I want this to move along a little bit. I may instead just... The next video I want to do is audio. I want to do things with audio. So sound effects both in the menu and more gameplay things like when towers fire and when birds do their thing and whatnot. Let's see. Does this look too regular? This looks kind of too regular. I was having that problem with flowers in the last streams. That round one looks really out of place. After that, I might do a bit of a speed up montage thing for level design. Small flat, small eye, small. All right, that's also a roundish. Not the biggest fan. Top. Okay, so there's top are the ones with like stacks of rocks. That's all right. Top B. I think there are 3. Okay, there's only 2 top rock designs. Okay. Tall are also probably like the background rocks. I will scatter some of those in with some like tree-like things. That's probably, yeah. All right, actually, those aren't that big. And they do look like different rock types when they're rotated randomly like that. I also do want to spend more time on balance. I spent a decent amount of time doing that some time ago, some weeks ago. There's definitely more that needs to be done gameplay balance wise. I also haven't ruled out adding more like enemy types. I've in real life I've been dealing with a couple of the spotted lanternfly insect varieties, and that feels like it would be perhaps boss material. God, those things are impossible to deal with, like in real life. I do not enjoy trying to go outside and get them like away from the vegetables. They're really fast, and it's hard to smush them. So now I'll go look for formation. Formation, a large stone. Ooh boy. Okay, that is big. There are palm trees, right? Yeah, there are palm trees. Maybe I'll just use palm trees to go in there. Wow, are you serious? Okay, that is way too big. Why are the palm trees so big? Where is Kenny Nature? Kenny Pirate? Might have been Pirate. Wow. OBJ, at the very least, no palm trees in this one. Am I going insane? Are all the trees this big? Alright, not all the trees are that big. Some of the main trees are reasonably sized. Which set is it in? Oh, they are in the pirate set. Okay. Didn't see them. Let me just import those in this way. Let's see. First, apply the scale. Second, rotate the up axis. I've implemented myself a new tool for centering the objects on their central axis, which may make this a little bit easier. Short, long, detailed, short, detailed, long. Okay. I think I will export these as vertex buffers. And where did they go? They probably went in here, didn't they? Oh, are those I should probably combine those submeshes and then export them. Let's see. So I can, what is it? F1 to save this, and then Game Maker. Your temporary save location is confusing. This is level. What level is this? It's level. Oh my god. Oh, I am a mess today. Close that. I'm sure I'll be back to it when I get to doing the pirate ships. The beach is like level 7, isn't it? Beach is level 7. Okay. This is not the best live stream of anything that I've ever done. All right. Palm trees, detailed, long, not gargantuan. That is 100% gargantuan. How did you get that big? Why is everything this big? This is gonna be 1/8 scale. Is that better? Like, holy crap. Probably. This is the sort of thing that I really should have thought I had to do on my own time, but I just sort of assumed that when I pre-computed all the vertex buffers, they were the right size. All right, that's better. That's actually, yeah, that's the right size. All right, if I were to F12 to move, if I were to plop this down by the end, that's about the right size compared to the tents and stuff. Okay. I will drop down a few palm trees of different types. There's 4 different types. Boy. All right, how many total things? 208 total things. And there are, of course, other things that could go on a beach. There are other kinds of plant life. Detailed tall, detailed short. Some shorter palm trees of different sizes, and of course they are given a random scaling when you plot them into the world, so that those are all in a line. I don't like that all in a line. They are all given a random scaling when you plot them into the world, so there's a little bit of a natural variation in size there. Okay, I do feel like, and that could have just been a trick of the camera's perspective, but I feel like the short ones are sometimes taller than the tall ones. I don't know if that's due to overlap in their random size generation or what. Long, undetailed long, like simple long. Okay. A smaller number of triangles. That's a little close. And lastly, a couple more short ones. All right, now we're getting somewhere. This took a half hour to really get moving. This video did, but now we're getting somewhere. Okay, is there in the pirate set in particular, which I just closed because I'm an idiot, the Windows Explorer folder in the pirate set. Okay, there are things like shovels and a bunch of things pertaining to pirate crews. Bottles, bottle large, cannon, telephone. Yeah, that's spam. So if we're gonna imagine that later on in the future, I'm gonna put down like water here or something like that, or something like that. I will. There's a couple different boat types. What's bench? What is that a part of? It doesn't look like the other ones I have. All right, that might have come from something else. Anyway, there's a boat. I can scale that down. What is it? Control down for scale, I think. And well, Wow, the lighting isn't... The lighting isn't, like, working correctly, I don't think, on this thing. Alright, who cares? Let's rotate you, like, that way. Oh, there we go. Now it is. Okay, I was just, maybe the way it was rotated, the light was, like, directly overhead or something. That can still stand to be a little smaller. Like that. I think that might be a bit of a better size. And I do not need this one anymore. Okay. There's something like, I think a canoe paddle, a boat paddle, something like that. It's just called paddle. Which is... belongs to the other ones. Let me just drag that off screen so that I can keep it open. Alright, there's a boat paddle. I can... yeah, that's a bit of a more rectangular shape, which is a little bit more like the boat that's here. I can scale that down. I can attempt to rotate it like this, and maybe that's not very convincing, is it? That's better. Alright, so there's a paddle on that boat. I can add another one, of course, because rowboats often have two of these things. As long as it's approximately the same size. Smaller. There we go. There we go. Rotate it. Move it up, and then, like, this way. Still could be a little bit smaller, like that. Alright, that looks like it's... that looks like a rowboat paddle. There's also other beach-related things. This is a little bit more on the pirate side, but there's a chest, a treasure chest. That's path nodes. And yeah, that's huge. Nope, don't spawn two of them. That's huge. I can scale that down as well. I could have scaled the trees down myself, but I don't really want to spend a great deal of time doing that for every single tree, so in that case it's worth resizing them individually. Them as a as the model. What did we establish? That like the lore of this game is that the whoever the protagonist is, whoever lives in like the tents by the end of the tracks is a band of pirates, and they're like searching for treasure or something like that. Here's some treasure for you. Let's rotate it the other way. And like sink it sideways into the sand a little bit. There we go. Searching for buried treasure. There's some out here that you guys might have missed. Okay. Let's see. I also, I discussed, like, bottles. Bottles? Yeah, bottles. Alright, likewise, that's huge. This is gonna get a similar treatment. I'll put down, like, one or two of these, and just... maybe a handful of them, and, hide them in various places. I don't know if you want to do a Kingdom Rush thing, and like if you click on all the bottles, you get a little Easter egg or something like that. I doubt I'm gonna go to that much effort, at least not at the current scope of this project. I need to rotate you. There we go. Let's rotate you a little bit more. Nope, don't move you up or down or into the sand. Rotate. Other axis, there we go. What does my cell phone want from me? Does not look important. Okay. I think I'll give it a 5 of these. There's also another bottle design. Let's hide one over here maybe. Or how about in the boat? You can hide one of the bottles in the boat. Like that. Why? Who knows? And there's a larger bottle. Okay, that's a different color, more importantly. I naturally will be resizing them. Maybe, let's say maybe you're actually like drinking that one actively. And let's see, where should I hide this last one? Does it make sense to put a couple of these around the treasure chest, like the other treasure chest, like out here? Let's see, more beach-related imagery. There's a cannonball. No thanks. That is definitely more on the. There's just a hole. I assume that's of sand. Buried treasure. Yeah. If I sink that below the ground a little bit, that's better. That's a little bit of Z fighting. Don't know if I like. We can put like the hole of buried treasure in there, although that might affect gameplay. Let's sink you a little bit farther into the sand. Okay, no more Z fighting. And we can always have more than one of them. Still a little bit of fighting. Can I just like move you a millimeter down? There we go. Okay. As long as the I don't especially care how big it is, as long as the there's no Z fighting with the ground. This last one. Alright, that treasure chest was like half dug up. Maybe someone already stole all the loot. Okay, there's also, of course, grasses and plant life and stuff, besides just the palm trees. Let's see, what kind of grass? That's not bad, actually. I was gonna ask what kind of grass would look best in such a level as this. But that's not bad. It's it looks like dune grass, more or less. I'll put a little bit of it here and there. I will not go too overboard. I'll put a couple flowers down, but again, I won't go too overboard. Let's see, and also the bigger grass models too for slightly more dense regions like that. It doesn't look that much bigger than the regular grass models. Okay. If I cluster it together, some places there'll just be one or two, but if I cluster it together, this is not a 2D game. Although gameplay technically works in 2D, but visually it's not. Gameplay just works on a flat plane. Grass with leaves. All right, that's the other one. I remember what these look like. If I put grass like in the middle of that hole, it'll make it look like it was dug up a long time ago. Grass leaf large. Let's see. Of the other plant types in here, I'm thinking of being a little bit restrained in which ones I use. I'm thinking of just like a small number of flowers. Just like a little red or yellow one or something. Or orange, or whichever color you prefer to call these. Is that... Okay, no, I thought that spawned inside the rock for a moment. You know what I can do? And being a little bit creative with the placement of things, I can create like low-lying plants by sinking a palm tree into the ground. All right, maybe that could work. Does that look stupid? No. Oh, okay. I can live with that. That doesn't look too stupid. All right. There will only be a few of these. But we can have low-lying plants by via sinking the palm trees into the ground a little bit. All right. Let me save this. This is going to be level 7. Bird game? No, not bird game. Bombardier, data files, maps, level 7. Okay, what other things might you expect to find on a beach? Oh, that's where those rock formations came from. Hole, paddle, palm trees, pirate captain. Not gonna have any pirate captains or anything like that here, but shovels, swords, scimitars. That sounds like something for the next one. All right, I will fuse this all together. I think I am done, at least for now. We only have 8,000 vertices there in that one. 80,000 vertices, rather. This is level 7. If I go back to gameplay mode, there is a... I don't think I can still plop any towers down because collision's still messed up, but that's gameplay. Let's go back to title. Let's go to the Pirate Cove. Same deal here. I'm gonna make this look more like water later on. Oh, I did a little bit more decoration on this one than I did on the last one. I'm gonna make this look more like water. Are these live? These are live. The pirate ship, I'm sure, is gonna be a little bit difficult to get my cursor on, but okay. So to have some fun with this, let's first. Let's dig up some buried treasure. If I were to shrink that and shrink that and shrink this one, we're going to be digging up some buried treasure, and there's going to be a couple of these on this map. I'd like them to be rotated more or less to face the camera, not completely facing the camera, but just so that you can see that they are indeed treasure chests. And then of course we can bury them a little bit. Maybe put this one inside the wreckage or something. Is that weird? That's a little weird. There we go. That can be yours. This last one, maybe instead of inside the wreckage, I can put this one inside the actual ship. Every pirate ship's got to have their treasure. Like that. Okay. And then there's of course the can have a couple more because there's going to be a lot of them. There's always the holes, the dirt holes, which these things are buried inside of. So maybe instead of sticking this inside the wrecked ship, it can be like in the ocean next to it. That makes more sense. This is huge. I don't know why I made that so big. And last one. I don't think there's an open treasure chest in this set, is there? That would kind of make sense to have an open treasure chest, but I don't think there is. Let's see, hole. We can have this over here. There might be a little bit of Z fighting there, but that doesn't matter because that's the area that that the hole is Z fighting over is obscured by the chest itself. These are not large objects, or they should not be large objects anyway. I can cluster those together a little bit. That good? Okay, what next? Stones? Stone large? Okay, stones. We'll do stones. That's not what I wanted to select. How come... Did I accidentally reset your Z height when I did that? I think I did. Let's see. If you want environmental storytelling, here's a couple of rocks for the ship to beach itself on. Or something in that vein. There's a lot of these. You can move over there. This like probably fell out of the ship or something when it went overboard. Alright, better luck next time you try to moor. Is that still fighting with the ground? I feel like that's still fighting with the ground. Should I just, like, edit the model so that that plane isn't there? Alright. There's a lot of rocks. I'm not actually sure if I like all these rocks. Does this look stupid? I don't think I like the way this looks. I think maybe we can have just a couple rocks, but not nearly this many. I feel like that's a little bit too on the nose. Particularly for the ship. Just right there by its nose. I will put some down on the other sides of the map though. With some regular trees and other objects like that. There's smaller ones, right? I'll use more smaller ones. The smaller ones don't look so weird when there are that many of them. Is it really already 3:30? Okay, that's the round one. I did not like the round one. It's also rather round. Actually, that's not as round. These are the top-facing ones, which I remember liking. Of which there are several designs. And lastly, the tall ones, which are good background material. Again, that is very regular. I don't think I like how regular this looks. Although I think in this case, the solution may be to add more of them rather than to take them out. Alright, not leaving too much space for palm trees, but let's do that next. Palm detailed along. We can have palm trees can get away with growing in like rocky ground, can't they? And besides, I can spread those out into the middle a little bit more. Can delete rocks if I feel like they're in the way. Can also make that a little bigger so that it's not like completely dwarfed and shaded by the palm tree. Okay. Detailed long, detailed short, detailed like crooked also, because that stem is not too straight. Alright, this actually doesn't look as ridiculous as I first thought it would. Regular long without the detail, bit of a straighter trunk, and regular short without the detail. Again, I want to avoid putting palm trees in the middle of the map because that could obstruct visibility, but around the side make the level feel a little more interesting. This would be level 8. Next, smaller details, grasses and such. Like this. I could also put some, like, maybe in the water, or at least in where the water is going to be, and have it, like, stick up from there. Could do that. That's an option. Maybe, these holes are going to be a little bit overgrown. Maybe these were excavated some time ago. Okay, I think I've actually got more grass in this one than I did in the other beach level. Which is fine. Don't want them to look too similar to each other. I'll be using like the same vegetation naturally, but this is a much more rocky area than the regular beach area. I also all the bottles and that sort of thing. Other pirate artifacts like shovels, scimitars, and the like. Should also add some of those. Alright, those are the flowers. Shovels. This is gonna be big, right? Yeah, that's on the large side. On the very large side. If I were to shrink that down to a more reasonable size, rotate it up, sink it into the ground a little bit, and maybe plant it inside by one of these holes. Maybe like there. Move it around a little bit. Rotate it the other way. And down into the ground a little bit. There we go. That's one. That's a shovel. Over here on this side. Rotate. And sink it down into the ground a little bit. We can have a second shovel here as well. Maybe over by this one. Like that. What are some other things? Sword. Was it called sword? It is called sword. Alright, that's also very big. That probably belongs, like, over here, where the presumed people are. Like that. If I lie you flat down on the ground. And the same for you. Rotating it the wrong way. There we go. They're not exactly the same size, but they don't have to be. And this is a curved sword. Can I like turn this completely upside down? Can I have that sticking out of the sand? That's probably not good for the blade, but it looks cool. Like there. All right. Oh yes, the bottles, the cannons, palms, characters, not needing any characters. Shovels, tower. What's tower? That is huge, is what that is. Okay, so that's like a lookout tower of sorts. All right, we can have one of these. That's perfectly reasonable. Maybe on this side. Is that sand like spilling out of it? What is that? And for some reason the maybe I'll somewhere around here I'll delete a couple of rocks. For whatever reason the Shy Guy Beach music from Mario Kart is playing in my head right now. Surely that is completely unrelated to what I'm doing right now. There we go. Maybe get rid of some of the trees and rocks in front of it. And rotate it so that the door is actually facing outwards. And make it a little bit bigger. Alright, that's actually really big. It should be like, you would reasonably expect the people who would go through the store to be able to fit in those tents. Something like this. Okay. Yeah. And I'll just move that over there. So that is a pirate tower. There's also the matter of the cannons. I have a feeling these are going to look like the things on the ship, right? Probably. Yeah. Put that maybe behind this this other campfire over here and rotate it so that it's facing outwards. Or at least outwards-ish. Alright, that'll do. If I spawn in another one. Can I put it on the tower? Would that look dumb? Not really. Okay, that doesn't look too dumb. Okay. It is like sort of rotated. Yeah, we should rotate it back so that it's actually pointing out of the tower. There we go. The heavy weaponry can be found over on this side of the map. No, don't rotate you sideways. Maybe it's a broken cannon. It's buried in the ground. And last one. Let me try that again. on the rock, if you please. All right, there we go. There's also the bottles. Plenty of bottles. Things that you'd expect to find around a pirate area. Shrink you down very small. Very small. Whoever is set up camp here has had a very busy night. There's also the bigger bottle of rum. Like that. And we can have one standing upright. Somewhere. Maybe like on the stone. I wish I could have a little bit finer control over the positioning of things, but I think that's approximately correct. And on the side. And I will bury a couple bottles here and there in the sand as well, as before. This treasure chest is a little on the big side still. Let me shrink that. Alright. That bottle is also a little on the big side, but I'm okay with that. Okay, so those are the bottles by that pirate tower. If you'll give me a minute, I will hide a few more like in the grass, because we're not super careful about how we're disposing our waste over here. I suppose. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Like X marks the spot. That's a bit of a trope. Maybe I could play into that a little bit. Create a little cross formation in the sand with a couple of rocks. All right, that's another one. And let's put another one in this little rowboat. Like that. Alright. Find all the bottles. Nothing happens if you do. Let's see. X marks the spot. Stone. Stone small. The pirate aficionados among you would probably be informing me right now that pirates rarely bury their treasure and definitely did not make it nearly as obvious as this, but it's, we're going for the imagery here. Doesn't have to be a perfect X. Just something that's vaguely like in that shape. That's one of the stacked ones. I actually do not want one of the stacked ones right now. That's better. This is where the round stones would come in handy. These these stone designs that I mentioned not really being a huge fan of earlier. Okay, that's X marks the spot. I will save this again as level 8. Level 8. And let's see, is there anything else I might want to add? There's like shovels, there's swords, there's pirate artillery, there's cannonballs. I remember there are cannonballs. Cannon, cannonball, cannonball large, cannon mobile. What's cannon mobile? Oh, that's on wheels. That's just like on wheels. I might replace some of these with cannon mobile in that case. Because that makes sense to be able to, that's rotating it the wrong way. That makes sense to be able to wheel this around. Alright, rotate it that way. And, okay. Let's plant another one. Like, that's facing inwards. Not super helpful. Alright. That's a cannon mobile. There's also the cannonballs. Cannon, cannonball, cannon large. Cannon large, that's just a little bit longer. Okay. Maybe, again, for the sake of not all these things looking the same, I'll replace this one. Phantasy Star 1, I am not familiar with that off the top of my head. I'm gonna guess RPG Maker. Give me a minute and I'll look up exactly what the aesthetic of that is. Yeah, RPG Maker might not be a bad choice for something that looks like this. You can, of course, if you really like hacking your own turn-based battle systems and stuff, you can always do it in Game Maker. That is a cannon large, cannon ball. Oh, you know what? I had an idea. It is the Labyrinth. If I were to go back to this, I forget if RPG Maker has built-in tools to like create mazes and dungeons and stuff. Phantasy Star Online, that looks like something that came a little bit later. Anyway. Let's see, where was I? Cannonballs. I was thinking of like burying cannonballs like in one of the holes. Yeah, this thing is in 3D. This is a 3D world. The dragon picture. Did I close the tab again? Oh, this is it actually being rendered in 3D, or is it just a background? Because if it's just a background, you can definitely make that a battle background in something like RPG Maker. If it's actual 3D, I might suggest not doing that if you're a beginner. But otherwise, turn-based combat, RPG Maker excels at that. That sort of turn-based combat systems are actually can be extremely like tedious to write on your own because there's a lot of it's about the maze. It's a lot of menus, turn-based combat is, and that can be not a lot of fun to do yourself, but in any event, you can walk until some monster appears. Okay, there's actually a fair amount of like Game Maker, early Doom, early Wolfenstein material out there for that kind of thing. But if you're like just getting started, I would recommend probably not doing that. If you really want to work in 3D, there's always stuff like Unity, but it's a lot more balls to keep juggling in the air than something like just a simple 2D overworld like this. Yeah. Where was I? Was this like all that I had in mind to add? I think there's it's all the decorations. This is 143,000 vertices, which is about 50% more than the other one. I'm guessing most of that's going to be in the pirate ships. Anyway, let us save this as level 8, and we can move on to another level. All right, it is 3:50. I cannot believe how late it's already been. The buttes. This is finished, right? This is more or less finished. This is yeah, this is the desert level. With some random ruins here and there, and some flowers growing out of cacti, which I like less than I did last time, but I'll leave them. Alright, I don't need to really do any work in here aside from adding background material. The town outskirts, let's see if I can get this done today. This is gonna be... SPR ground sand, SPR ground, just ground. I'm just gonna go back to having grass on the ground. Again, in the future I will add some code to dictate the color of the ground in each level. But for now, we can go back to starting with some trees. Tree blocks. Maybe different types of trees. Greetings, short films. No monsters necessary. Alright, am I looking up like gameplay of this? This is the sort of thing that long play videos excel at. Okay, so what's exactly going on here isn't exactly a 3D world, but it's basically building a screen out of tiles. It's not like smooth. Why is my own stream like in the recommended videos? That doesn't make sense. This is still very much 2D. It's just assembling a tile map to make it look like 3D. There's a couple defined like angles that are all of these blocks. At least I'm like 80% sure that's what's going on here. But in any case, doing actual 3D would probably be easier in the modern day. Although with that said, like I said, if you're just getting started, I would recommend maybe going with a simpler game. Anyway, let me watch a little bit more to see. So that's what you mean by the monsters appearing. Okay, that's more or less what I was envisioning. I saw an overworld. All right, so we're collecting treasure. And the overworld is, yeah, this is a very classic overworld design. And there's okay, it's like it works like that in town too. All right. Anyway, yes, this is a 3D gaming game maker, or at least a visually 3D gaming game maker. Let me start drawing an outline of trees. There's a couple different tree types. I want to use a variety. I don't want to just use all like the blocky ones here. Probably I don't have any houses or anything like that. The Kenny like nature sets and the other ones don't come with like house designs, but they do come with pieces that you could use to assemble something like that. I will probably do that on my own time and do that in a future video or something. How long have I been coding for? A long time. I want to say, I don't know why I'm scrolling through the calendar month by month. I want to say about 2011 was when I started messing with Game Maker. I've been like knowledgeable about computer code for maybe a year before that or so. Steven, don't give away my secrets. Yeah, Enigma, if you do an actual 3D, like an actual 3D environment, that would probably be less work than trying to imitate perfectly what was happening in Phantasy Star 1. Um, since we now have modern tools such as like 3D graphics cards and stuff like that. But I would urge caution if this is like the first thing that you're trying to do in game development wise. I am okay. Orange trees. Yeah, orange trees. But if that's what you want to do, then yeah, 3D and Game Maker videos might be a good place to get started. Okay. I was. All right. That's another tree. I like that a little bigger than the blocky trees, but. I won't spend too much time fussing over the sizes, as long as they're not colossally huge like some of the pirate materials were. The ships, the cannons, and the treasure chests and that sort of thing. Stick with 2D. I've been doing 3D in Game Maker since I want to say like 2014, and honestly, it's fun. I have more fun. That's way close to the other ones. I have more fun doing this than using Game Maker like a normal person. And like I wouldn't recommend it unless it's something that you really want to do for a specific reason. But I do have a lot of fun doing this. Not an RPG at all. Okay, in that case, the suggestion of RPG Maker probably would not be of tremendous use to you. Let's see. If you do want to go full 3D, at least try out. That's really close to the other ones. At least try out something like Unity. If you I like Game Maker. I would use Game Maker for simple things like this, but you by no means have to. It's just I happen to know a little bit more about it than about Unity. Default trees. That's just like a round one, right? Yeah, it's a moderately round tree. With two different colors, the light color and the dark color. Steven Loney, are you still doing the game about like the dog that you were posting screenshots and such from on Twitter some time ago? Oh, so I'm responsible for Steven for going down this rabbit hole as well. Another victim claimed. Okay. You are still doing the dog game. I haven't seen very much about it recently. I don't know if that's just because I haven't been paying as close attention to Twitter, which is probably honestly not a bad thing, or if it's just there's been less like screenshot worthy material or something like that. Tree detailed. Oh yeah, that's this one. That is detailed. Game jams. I did play your Neon game jam. I need to like record that for YouTube. That was an interesting take on Neon. I enjoyed that. Let's see. In the future, I'm probably gonna like put down more trees in between like houses and stuff around here, but first I'll need to actually like figure out the exact placement of where that's gonna be. It's still a challenge. The way I usually describe 3D in Game Maker to people is that it's less hard than people think it is, but it's still a lot of work, especially compared to the regular like 2D Game Maker, just like 2D drawing sprites and such. Particularly since, for example, what I'm doing here, like Game Maker's 3D room support is very, very limited, and you can either play with like depth and layers in the room editor, or you can just spin your own level editor like this, which is what I usually end up doing because it's if something's lacking in the editor, then you can just add it yourself, and you don't have to find a weird hack to make the room editor work. But all of a sudden, all of the blocky trees are like in the back because I started on the outside and started working my way in, and that's a little weird. The Outrun game, the car game, funny car game, or is there an actual like infinite runner that someone made that I'm actually not aware of? I usually try to be on top of like what people are doing with 3D in Game Maker, regardless of whether or not it's like super pertinent to the videos that I make, because I think it's interesting and I want to see what's going on. I want to see what people are doing. How many more trees do I want? Tree oak. Okay, so that's another like short round one. All right, so it is the driving game. Yeah, Fabio's funny car game. I just love how Buck Up and Drive is like completely over the top, and it knows it. Even, and it's hard to see exactly the little details that go on in the background, like the billboards and stuff, because you're so focused on driving. But it if you ever stop to just look at like the surroundings on the track, I like the little, like the goofy billboards and I forget like some of the things on the beach and stuff. It's it feels like Fabio had fun making it. I think this is enough by way of trees for now. Bushy plants. I can put down a couple leafy plants now, which I did not do a lot of in the sandy levels. It's outrun with speed effects. Very fast and responsive. Yeah, I like the controls. It controls rather well, even though I'm like waving my hands in the air. I'm terrible at it. It's the sort of thing where if there was no score, if there was no timer, if there was no anything else, if there was no like gameplay progression, it would still just be fun to just like drive for 20 minutes or a half hour or something like that. It's sort of intrinsically rewarding, and it's fun enough that like the fact that my score was always garbage every time I raced didn't really bother me, because it was just fun doing those actions. I don't know if that's just me. I don't know if other people are less what's the word I'm looking for? Like less of a flow state with just the act of driving itself, but yeah, Fabio does hang around on the Game Maker Discord on occasion. I haven't seen him there as much recently. I assume like his game is coming out in like 2 days. I think the release date's like either tomorrow or the day after that. Okay, released August 21st. Yeah, it's coming out tomorrow. I assume he's busy with that, but yeah. Where was I? The plants as well. I'm being like hesitant to put down too many plants, because I feel like once I put down like houses or something, just even one or two houses or something in the middle, I'm going to want to like have space for that and then fill in the space around them. And that'll be something for another day. Let me read that. Hang on, let me zoom in on my internet browser so I can read that without like putting my face real close to the screen. Add a superior layer to this map you're building and make a stair, and the game is a mountain, and expand the map vertically. I could. The gameplay is effectively, and I mentioned this once or twice earlier. The gameplay is effectively 2D. Since this is something that I'm making like an hour a week on video, I don't want to expand the scope too much. I'm considering that I just like once I'm done with the YouTube series, once the game itself is like a complete entity, expanding the scope of it a little bit more, but for now I think just a simple 2D tower defense track in a 3D environment is what I'm going for right now. I can at least like that really looks like I'm just clicking randomly and not being super careful about like designing a map. Oh, it's possible. It's just not something that's that I am really giving priority at the moment. You could totally have the like give the camera a third axis and have it go up or down instead of just side to side and forward and backward. You could small. Yeah, that's pretty small. You could totally have the track instead of going just on two axes, you could have the track going like up a hill, and then is there like did I not complete the track? There should be more nodes there. You could totally have these nodes going up and down, and the enemies would just follow it, but it's just not code that I've written for this game because I want to keep the scope somewhat contained. There are a lot of types of vegetation in this nature set. Let's see. Yeah, I think this is like the last flat short. What's that look like? That's not that short. Why is it named that? This is right now I'm just like any vegetation type I'll put a little bit down, but I don't want to spend too much time before I have houses in this map. And the same will be true for the other two. I've sort of made a castle for the last one, and I think I'll just call it here. I've sort of made a castle for the last one. This is level 10 in Asset Forge, but it's not like I'm still playing around with it. It's not really done yet. If I the track for this one isn't very long. This is one of the later ones. This is not supposed to be quite as easy as the other ones. There's no loops. There's very little like interior of curves to give extra perimeter to the tower's targeting. Let's see. I guess, and it's 4:10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I want to call it at about 4:30 because I do need to eat, and I did tell some people that I would work on some other things. The track here is complete. Is it? No, there's still one node missing. There should be one more node there. Is GameMaker like not saving the last node when I save it? I don't know. I'll look at that later. But for the time being, I can take some trees, and I'll do the same. I'll do more or less the same thing. I'll take a couple different tree types. Tree palm, tree pine, tree pine. There's a lot of pine trees. Why are there so many pine trees? I think some of those are from the graveyard set. Let's start with oaks. For your game, you want to have a dungeon to players reach a point and stare a giant castle, and they will have. Okay, so your thing is about like ascending the tower, ascending the castle. So yeah, I can see why you would be interested in. That's a lot of them. I can see why you would be interested in verticality. In general, I like verticality too. Just it's extra work to design a game with that in 3D. Particularly when I have to like build the map tools myself. But that's a little bit like off the side, but it doesn't matter. Perhaps another day. There are other games that I wanna do like on a YouTube series like this, and probably haven't 100% decided on what I'm doing next, but probably I'm sure they'll tend towards 3D because I like 3D, and I'm sure some of them will have a little bit more height in their level design. This is like all oaks. I might reduce the density of oaks a little bit. Dark H. Alright, those are more or less the same shape as the oaks, just they don't have the roots at the bottom. Yeah, I thought about using the room editor, but I wanted to, and I'm not sure if I were to do this over again, if I would do the same thing. I wanted to use as few of the built-in game maker systems as possible, which did include the room editor. For a game like this, in the long run, it may have been like more efficient to just do that and not spin my own level editor, but it's got its uses. Let's see. Did not intend to throw down quite this many oak trees over here. This actually wasn't that much coding. This is, since there's no like user interface or anything, this is very much just when you click the mouse button. And in that respect, it uses a lot of the same code as actually like placing towers. But when you click the mouse button, you calculate the mouse's raycast into the floor and spawn an instance of whatever tree, whatever object is selected. The math to figure out like where the mouse cursor intersects the floor is fairly simple. I believe it's in here. Yeah, here you just convert the mouse's screen position to a vector in the world, and then basically follow it into the ground. And then when you click the mouse, you just spawn something at that position. And then there are a few other things like being able to interact with objects in different ways and fusing everything together. But it's not. This is pretty simplistic. There are, for example. This is much more complicated. This is actually a bad example because I don't have anything loaded into it, but there are much more complicated 3D map editors than this. It's fun though. Like I keep circling back to. Detailed dark. These 3D models came from this wonderful guy called Kenny. He's got a bunch of free low poly 3D assets and sprites and tiles and even user interface stuff and that sort of thing. This is mostly the nature set. Where is it? This one. Most of what you see is this. I just converted them into basically vertex buffers the game maker can use. There are sprinkles of other some of the other ones, like the pirate set and the graveyard and that sort of thing. When I'm making something on my own, I use this ancient thing called Model Creator for Game Maker, because it's simple and it's good for making things that are about as complicated as I ever need them to be. I can use Blender, although I don't like to, because Blender is a pain in the neck. Some people use it. Some people use Blender. Some people use like Google SketchUp. There's a lot of options. Let's see, where was I? More trees. Tree default. Tree cone. All right. Oh, wait a minute. There have been a lot of, like, chat messages that I didn't see. It's easier to make 3D portals in GameMaker than it is in Unity when building for the Oculus Quest. Really? I've never done that in either. I've never tried to do that in either, but really? Is it just, like, a matter of... Like, you can draw arbitrary stuff onto a surface in GameMaker, and when you do it in Unity, you have to jump through a few hoops with, like, render textures and stuff. In-game is easier because you can visualize it in 3D. That's also true. Blender, hope you're ready to remember a million hotkeys. Yeah, and to make it worse, like, every time they update, things change, and... I have to, like, unlearn what I memorized for the last version of Blender and relearn it for the new version, and when you Google it, there's a million different answers for different versions of Blender, because it's been around for a long time. And I'm glad Blender exists, because I'm glad that there is a free and open source 3D model editor, but it's just a pain dealing with, like, the entire entity that is Blender. Greetings, Duplitor. Those are very close to each other. I'm gonna spread these out a little. In any case, when I'm doing stuff in GameMaker, I generally do not need things that are more complicated shapes than, like, fairly small objects. I think that's enough trees. I've got 312 total trees and also path bricks. There are so many bugs that lead to other bugs in VR, more specifically for the Quest. The whole thing would be solved if I could just render the game monoscopic, but Quest doesn't allow that. So, like, rendering the game to a single like image instead of one for each eye like you usually have in VR. I'm not, like, hugely interested in virtual reality. I've never really... I played with one once, and it didn't, like, interest me. I know there are, Unity these days does have a fair amount of, like, VR tooling, and I know a couple of people have tried to do it in GameMaker. I don't know how that turned out. I'm looking for, like, plants. Grass large, grass leaf large. You have a cool idea for it. Okay. I hope you have fun working on it. And do I really want all this grass? Not really. Particularly not all of, like, this one kind of grass. Towers and core mechanics. Yeah, pretty much. Gameplay's ready to go. It may be slightly broken because the detection of where you can and can't build sort of stopped working. But gameplay itself is working. If I were to save this as level 11, I believe we're up to, and if I were to go back to one of the earlier levels, like level 2 or so, gameplay here, no, level 1. Gameplay in level 1 at least should be functional. Yeah, we can build towers, we can send things in, and we can upgrade our towers. It needs balance. It needs a lot of things, actually. I spent a nominal amount of time trying to balance things, and at least getting the game in the ballpark of something that is, like, you can play this and you can sometimes win. But I'm doing level design now. Once I do level design, I'm going to go back. I'm going to do things like sounds and audio and particle effects and that sort of things. And then once like game feel is done, I will go back for a final round of balance and that sort of thing. Speaking of which, I'm pretty sure the fire tower is like weaker than the other ones because it has a low rate of damage because it does damage over time, but I don't think that scales as well as some of the other things. So this is probably not going to go super well. If I don't figure out a workaround or Unity never fixes any of the bugs that lead to it, then I'll likely shelve the idea and just make something similar in Game Maker. Always an option. Yeah, this is alright. This is the end of the road for me. I lost. Let me try something that isn't a fire tower. On the flip side, this looks. The longer I look at this, the worse this looks. This is a case for adding like better tower objects to the game. On the flip side, I think the bug spray towers, the poison towers, are a little bit too strong because a lot of the times if I want to like test something on the game over screen, I will just plop down a bug spray tower and let that just mow down whatever passes through. Yeah, I started 2 waves at once there by accident, and it just completely just wrecked most of both of them. This is the centipede has far too many. This looks like trouble for me. Oh no, okay, the poison is taking them out. Okay, that's nice. It's bugs, yeah. I forget why I did that. These little fruit flies are like those are definitely on the weaker side. Once those come in, they're pretty much they die in one hit, or I think technically 2 hits, but those need to be balanced. I have some ideas for how that might work. But yeah, the gameplay works. It's not like stable yet, but anyway. Let's see. Of course. Once I get down to the end, there's actually a lot of people here. There are many bugs. Yeah. Is that like? Did I make a joke about that on the GitHub page? I think at one point this said something like, "It's a game full of bugs." No, not that kind. Oh, here it is on the to-do list. But yeah, let's see. Now I don't want to stop streaming because there's suddenly actually a fair number of people here. How heavy are the trees? Like polygon count wise, performance wise? If you want to play around with it yourself, there is the did I just close it? There is the GitHub repository. And you can clone this. You can mess with the code. You can play around. You can build your own levels. You can add your own enemies, and if you want to do that, by all means. Apparently, pasting a GitHub URL in chat with my username in it, like, tagged me. Thanks, YouTube. But if you want to go and play around with it, by all means. Someone a while ago asked about, like, forking it and doing a pull request, and I have not put as much thought into that as I probably should. If someone wants to do, like, I don't know, create a new tower type and create a pull request, I would look at it as long as it doesn't completely break the game. But yeah, let's see. 2D or 3D trees for the walls in your game, but 2D stuff are kind of heavy. Do you mean like drawing sprites in 3D? Yeah, that can be a little bit much because of the way that Game Maker is optimized to draw stuff in 2D. Each of these, you can look at the debug overlay in the corner of the screen, and it's flying. Each of these maps, once I'm finished designing them, once I'm finished putting stuff where stuff belongs, I fuse them together into a single vertex buffer, which takes a lot of the load off of GML, and it becomes much more of a problem for the graphics card. You can see some of the work in progress levels are still like there's more things in them. And did I really not save this? Or did I just do I need to reload the game? You can see the work in progress levels where stuff hasn't been fused together is a lot more heavy. There's a lot more stuff in it because each of these vertex buffers are being drawn one at a time. Whereas when you combine everything, it becomes a lot less, and it becomes generally, unless you're working on a computer that's truly ancient, it becomes a lot more efficient that way. And also, like, triangles that are on the backs of objects that you can't ever see because the camera's pointing away from them, those get removed, and that helps. Okay. Let's see, is there anything else? I don't want to get started on anything right now. I don't want to get started on anything new. Any other, like, technical interrogations that anyone wants to make of me? I do want to, and I spent like the first 10 minutes of the stream before deciding it was stupid doing this, but I do want to add like hills or something in the background. Are there any like minor changes to the code that I can make? I should probably at least commit this to source control. Do I have caps lock on? I have caps lock on. Let me undo that. Yeah, no problem. Just add hills and waterfalls in the background so that it doesn't look like a flat earth. Yeah, I'm planning on hills. What I was doing earlier was, and apparently I closed it, and I'll probably screw around with this off recording, but what I was doing earlier was I wrote a while ago like a terrain editor for 3D, which you can like click and create hills and stuff, and that's a little bit bumpy, so you can smooth it out. I'm planning on like doing something like this for hills and plopping them in the background, just to give it a little more, but that will be a task for another day. If I save that, don't export all faces. If I save that and look at this, maybe throw a texture on it, smooth out the normals a bit. So we've got a little bit of terrain, but that's a subject for another day. Is it normal that shaders mess up with alpha testing? Unless you do, like, I assume you mean for drawing like sprites and stuff in 3D. Unless you do alpha testing yourself, yes. I don't know if it's in here. I think it is. If I were to go into a shader and go into the fragment shader, at the bottom you can see if color.alpha is less than the some alpha reference value, like 0.1 or so, I think is pretty usual. Then you'll discard. Otherwise, if you try to draw a transparent pixel, it will obscure things behind it in some cases. You have to disable shaders if alpha equals 0. Yeah. Transparency in 3D kind of sucks. The best solution to transparency in 3D is, like, in most cases, don't. In some cases, you can depth sort to make things that are opaque draw behind things that are transparent, and make things that are transparent draw last, but it's it's annoying. The discard keyword does work. It's not ideal. Because all that will do will like stop rendering a pixel. It won't, like, if you have a semi-transparent pixel, it still can mask things behind it, which is annoying. No, transparency in 3D just in general is cursed. It's not just Game Maker. Godot might do depth sorting for you, but it's still just a pain in the neck. In most 3D games, you will see in the very, very limited use of transparency, except for some special cases like windows and that sort of thing. Maybe like water. I forget if you can do like double buffering tricks to make transparency in 3D suck less. I can't remember. Anyway, let's see. I need to go eat something. I'm going to end the stream. Thank you all for dropping by. I'm probably not going to do this again for this game. I'm probably going to do the rest of this like off screen because I don't want to just... I want to be finished with it. Otherwise... Let's see. I will definitely try to do this with future Let's Make a Game series because it is fun. Possibly just general game dev, which I don't do often enough. Yeah, I know. It was there were only like a couple people here for the first like hour and a half that I was streaming, and then all of a sudden, when I want to start winding down, a lot more people start to arrive, which is awkward. But yeah. I think that's all. If you want to play with the code yourself, there's a GitHub repository in the video description. I guess I will tag this as 0.51 because that's tradition. Make a release 0.51. As vaguely non-specific of a release message as always. Let's see. I hope you all found that interesting, and I will see you all later. What are you complaining about? Oh, already exists. Fun. All right.